Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and we have a decent battle for you, and I have to say, I hate this camo. I'm so glad this was my last camo available for me, because it is just downright ugly. I am joined with Sweet and the Yu Yang. We're playing essentially a tier 10 battle. And it's going to be a good one. Shikaku, we have 2 Montanas, Turpits, 2 Des Moines, Minotaur, Hindenburg, Zhao, Yu Yang, Fletcher, and a Yugamo. On the enemy team, there's a Shikaku, Kurfürst, Yamato, Bismarck, 2 Des Moines, Minotaur, HIV, Hindenburg, Yu Yang, Fletcher, and a Yugamo. And starting off, we are playing, obviously, Domination, playing on Sleeping Giant. And this battle, I think, is a great demonstration. What I really think about World of Warships is the fact that I like games where it's close. It's much more exciting. And I hate the steamrolls, and many people have experienced the steamrolls quite readily. And it's just not that much fun when you just instantly steamroll a team and you're not really able to do much. This battle is probably a good example of an instance where it's very close, and I really do enjoy it. So starting off, we spawned on the western side of Sleeping Giant, and originally we had thought about pushing into A, but as you can see, the Zhao and the Minotaur have both pulled away from A, so it's actually a much better idea to actually pull away. Now this obviously will mean that for the most part we're going to be, I hate saying running away, but we're trying to get into a position where we can support C. Now, the enemy team does a really good job. They actually start capping both A and B, while we will take C. Now, there are quite a few Des Moines in this battle, which does mean there are quite a few radar, so it's not always the best thing in the world. Now, at the moment, I did pop my spotter plane, trying to get a more bird's eye view, trying to be able to get some shots off. There is the HIV. Let's see if we can get some shots, but I think the island is now blocking it. Now, the one thing about Sleeping Giants is there are a lot of valleys within these islands, which does mean that you can shoot in between these divots within the islands themselves. So the islands don't always protect it fully, and Clan Wars is very prominent with this, just because of the fact that even though you may think you're safe, you can still get shot at, especially the A-caps. A-cap in this battle is very well known for this. It's very difficult to be in a situation where you can, safely hide while trying to take the A-cap. A-cap generally is the cap I go for. I usually play the HIV, so that's generally the cap I try to go for. But anyways, starting off, as you can see, the enemy team have taken both A and B, and our team has officially taken C. Now I'm still trying to traverse to the other side, and Sweet Potato does realize that there are, in fact, a enemy Yu Yang and a HIV and eventually a Des Moines in that area as well. Now this Bismarck's making a rather interesting choice. I mean, at the moment, there is the majority of our fleet is over on the eastern side of the map, and I really thought this Des Moines would actually start pulling forward, but instead he continues reversing, so my shots do miss, so that is unfortunate. Now, as you can see, we are starting to take damage from the Des Moines and HIV and the Yu Yang, which are definitely a problem for us. Let's see if we can try to help out. Now, people complain whether or not a battleship should shoot at a destroyer, and I generally would recommend yes. I mean, yes, there are times you have a better option, but knocking out destroyers is highly beneficial for your team. Now, at the moment, our team has actually taken out a enemy destroyer, so we are in a ship advantage. But at the moment, things are looking a little dicey. We are trying to traverse this entirety of the map, and there is, in fact, a Bismarck, a Kurfürst, Des Moines, and HIV all shooting at us. So we're going to try to get away, and this Bismarck, once again, I don't know exactly why he decided to push this way. Probably thought it was a lot safer, and nice 16,000 point damage there. Hopefully should go down. Now we do have double fires. It is... it's really debatable when to actually knock out those fires. I would say 2 or higher number of fires is probably a good idea. But now that our damage control is going to be off cooldown, we are going to be susceptible to fires. But since it is a battleship, we can at least heal back that fire damage 100%, so that should prove beneficial. Bismarck finally goes down, and now we are no longer detected, which is extremely beneficial. Because it is going to mean that we can at least try to reduce the amount of damage coming in from that Des Moines and HIV. So starting to push south, and at the moment our team is ahead in ship count. However, we are obviously down in points because we do not have 2 caps. The enemy team does have 2 caps. And right there is actually a really good example. Those islands, those divots in those islands really does allow you to shoot anything at A. Now, we unfortunately have lost our Zhao, and we do have a friendly Minotaur starting to push in from the rear against a HIV and a Des Moines. Probably not the best idea. He has to be really lucky to be able to surprise all 3 of those ships, and I mean, if he took his time, he probably would have been fine. At least waited till either the Des Moines or the HIV were fully out of that cap. But instead, he decides to push in, and obviously has attracted the attention of both the HIV and the DM. Hindenburg is currently being focused down, and let's see if we can at least try to help out our team. Well, I mean, this battle is close at the moment. The Minotaur is stopping the cap on A, and Montana, I really have to say, especially in Clan Wars, is a very strong ship, and Clan Wars is in fact coming up here in a little bit. This is actually being recorded prior to the new update that is coming out. Quickly getting this recorded because I thought it was a decent battle. Once again, because I thought it was a good example of how fun a game is if it's actually very, very close. Now, the Minotaur did go down to the HIV, but we did manage to take out the Hindenburg. Our destroyers are doing really good work. They're providing spotting as well as torps on the enemy cruisers. And these islands over here at sea are not battleship friendly, and ooh, nice, got a citadel there. They're not battleship friendly, to say the very least. As you will see, I make a very interesting choice, because especially the Montana, granted not the biggest battleship, still doesn't really like to turn. Now the HIV is spotted, is firing with AP, which is a good option. Just switch over to HE. Now the HIV, I love my HIV, but as you can see, it can get those citadels where you think you're angled enough. Its armor is just thin, even with the space armor that it does have. Once again, we are starting to get focused on by the enemy cruisers HE, hoping to take him out. It does look like the HIV is starting to speed up. He is taking maneuvering. He is using WASDA hacks, trying to get out of there. Shots away, but no major luck. Did get a decent damage roll there. Not the greatest, but it could be worse. Once again, one thing I will have to say, I actually didn't really see a lot of the CV. It looks like the CV is primarily focusing at our battleships down south, hoping to take out that HIV, but unfortunately I was not able to. At least we did manage to shoot down a plane, which is actually kind of nice. Now I'm going to focus this Des Moines as best as possible. Now, even at a fairly strong angle, the bow armor can be overpenetrated by AP, especially if it does rain down from the top and easily penetrate this Des Moines. But this Des Moines is doing a really good job using WASDA hacks, being able to maneuver around and trying to throw off our shots, but he is currently being focused on by our cruisers. And then this is the same Des Moines that we saw earlier. He makes an interesting choice, to say the very least. So, did pop our spotter craft just so we can spot that DM, trying to focus him down But honestly, I probably should be focusing on this other Des Moines, but we'll get back to him in a little bit. Still being focused on, still getting burned, being apparently radared at the moment. Now this Des Moines is starting to become a problem. Now the other Des Moines we can't really shoot at, so might as well switch our attention to him. And he's, I mean, getting both turrets off, he's able to shoot, but he doesn't start reversing. Now this is a really interesting decision because right here, there we go, got a Citadel, took out the enemy Des Moines. Now unfortunately these fires are going to stick. We're gonna have to wait at least 30 seconds before we can actually get rid of that fire. Now fortunately we're not in a very vulnerable position. We're able to at least kind of pull away and not get shot at. So we do have a damage or repair party coming up in about 30 seconds. So we should be able to at least start healing that off. Now our team, well, I mean at the moment, both sides are very low on ships. The enemy team is still ahead in caps, still have the B cap. Des Moines is very low in health. It does look like he is starting to heal. And you can see that we're very close to dying here with only 1,612. But fortunately, we're not going to be able to be actually hit by any of the enemy ships. So fortunately, we're going to be able to at least heal some damage off. Now here I make not the smartest decisions. Once again, the islands here are not battleship friendly. So at this moment, my plan is to at least try to get around, try to get shots off at the enemy Yamato. But at the exact same time, I can't really show a lot of broadside. I don't have a lot of health. One good hit from the enemy Yamato will take us down. So do have to be extremely careful. Now we still do have our Des Moines, which probably have been shooting down a lot of planes, and are currently gonna try to get pulled away just because they are so low on health. But the advantage of us right now is that we do have 2 of our destroyers. And with the enemy Des Moines starting to pull away, is going to leave the B cap and A cap open for us to possibly take. Once again, destroyers are very, very strong in late game. Now we are officially spotted, and I'm making a very hard turn to starboard. And yes, yeah, not the greatest decision. Now I was hoping to get shots off on this Yamato, was hoping to get it along the broadside, but unfortunately I run aground. And that is a Yamato, which does mean he can overmatch our armor. He does get a decent hit there, but not enough to kill us. And the Yamato has to be careful as well. Can't show a lot of broadside or else he will take Citadel damage. So he is going to start kind of turning away, which is going to limit the amount of guns available for him. And fortunately for us, RNG was very kind to us. Did get a decent damage roll there. But we do have another heal, which is now coming available. Instantly pop that. And at the moment, because the enemy Des Moines did go down, our DDs are freely able to cap. And I am once again trying to get pulled away. And it does look like Adrenaline Rush is actually starting to really affect us. Our rate of fire is much more increased at the moment. And honestly, right now, this Yamato is very angled, and it's not likely we're going to be able to do much as far as damage. So I do switch over to HE, and it's a option you can definitely go for. AP is going to be not as beneficial for us. So if we can at least get him on fire, maybe use his damage control, that should help us. But our DDs are officially starting to cap out. Enemy team is no longer able to pull in additional points. So we still have about 5 minutes left on the clock, which will mean in about 4 minutes we'll actually earn a victory. We do earn Confederate on that salvo. Did get a fire that is going to burn for a little bit of time. And once again, the Yamato is not really able to use its full firepower, only able to use that rear turret. And we're decently angled enough that we should be fine. Once again, opening up with that last salvo of HE, cleared the turrets, and we're going to try to help our DMs out as much as possible. DMs actually managed to take out the enemy HIV. So now the enemy team is very close to losing at this point. Our DMs are very low in health though. They probably have used the majority of their repair parties, so they probably don't have much way in the amount of health, and unfortunately for them there is a enemy Kerfur starting to push them, and this enemy Kerfur has a substantial amount of health, so it is going to be very difficult for them to actually manage to take him out. So we do obviously try to help them out as much as possible. CV I think is going to try to help, but it is a Shikaku, is a tier 8. So it does have to be extremely careful there. And one good thing about this is the positioning of the friendly CV. As you can see, the CV is actually fairly close to the battlefield. Is actually relatively close to that Kerfur. Kerfur does turn in, is trying to take out one of our DMs, and our DMs kind of make a interesting decision. They should have, I don't really want to say they should have been more careful, but they do pop out against this Kerfur, and they are very low in health. Now the Kerfur does have fairly bad dispersion, but all the same it does have 12 turrets, and it does have fairly good secondaries. And as you can see there, we have unfortunately lost our Kerfur, but at the exact same time we have managed to take out their enemy Yamato. Sweet Potato does manage to take him out. So at the moment we're very close to winning, and I highly recommend getting the mod that shows the countdown on winning. It's very beneficial. Unfortunately it's a little buggy because it does display the timer down in my minimap. It's not supposed to be there, but things are definitely looking good. Friendly DM decides to poke out even though we are very close to winning, and Kerfur goes blap blap blap, and Des Moines goes down with relative ease from the secondaries. So kind of brought it back a bit, but unfortunately the enemy team just does not have any cap points to really be able to continue the push, and here in about 20 seconds does mean the end of this battle, and we just earned high caliber, which is not bad, and we did almost 200k, 190k, which is not too bad. And that is essentially going to be it for this video. So like I said, really love battles that are very, very close.